This is not my Tech and Frag Cerebral Cast Nisei Division deck. This is a different sort of deck that I'm playing with the Nisei Division identity, and it's my first try with it. This should prove to be a very exciting game. Now I'm up against Andromeda, and since I have 3 pieces of ice in hand, it's a no-brainer. Always do this, if only to deter the first turn dirty laundry, because a dirty laundry on the first turn to get a data sucker token is pretty huge. Always install your 3 pieces of ice. It really helped that one of them was a bullfrog, so that goes on the archives very conveniently. Should we choose to run archives, I can relocate my bullfrog to a more useful server, and bullfrog will be even more useful. So I'm not actually wasting any ice. This is fantastic for me. The next turn, I throw out a Jackson Howard. He's low on credits, and even if he decides to trash it, I can always retrieve it back with another Jackson Howard. But more importantly, I want to get a feel of how aggressive this runner is with regards to checking remotes, because I have some traps up my sleeve. The next thing he does is to run HQ blindly. I decide to rest the Surugi. This is a very risky move, as you see right now, because I paid 7 credits to deal 3 net damage to him. As a result, he accessed the Future Perfect, and I couldn't bid anything other than 0. So he won the bid, and I basically traded 3 net damage for 3 agenda points. Ouch! That was definitely not a worthy trade. Although on the bright side, my net damage did snap off a Peacock, a Fem, and a York. So, well, that was pretty sweet. Got lots of decoders out of the way. Hopefully he has none left. But losing half the battle already on the second turn, that's not what you want at all. So, what do I do next? I see my Sense City Grid, and the very important card that is the reason why I'm playing Nisei Division. Psychic Field. Now, Psychic Field is a lackluster card, but people have found some good use of it. The best thing about Psychic Field is that it actually combos well with upgrades. It actually protects upgrades from being accessed, because if you want to access and trash those upgrades, you need to get past the Psychic Field as well, which will probably empty your hand. So that is what I attempt to do, and this is done in conjunction with the most powerful upgrade in the game, hands down, Sense City Grid. So this is why I run both Sense and Psychic Field in the same deck. It's kind of like how some people splash Psychic Field in NBN, except that I'm doing this in Jinteki instead. I feel that Jinteki has more potential because there are so many more ways you can deal net damage to the runner, which will greatly slow the runner down, while still allowing for fast advanced strategies with Brain Trust and House of Knives, which deals even more net damage to slow down the runner. So this should be very exciting. Alright, he makes a very inequitable play by inside jobbing my R&D for just 1 card access. I'm not sure. Well, he must be very desperate. That's all I have to say. Alright, so he did access my Psychic Field, but he won the side game, unfortunately, because he had 7 cards at the time of access. Had he failed the side game, I would have snatched 7 whole cards from his hand. That, I think, very few runners can recover from. Alright, so I solidify my economic lead. Economy is very important because my ice is generally expensive, and I would like to have lots of credits to be able to get a better shot of winning those side games. I finally draw into my Snowflake, so this is go time, a scoring window for me. He's low on credits, he has no Corroder, so I install both Sansan and the Snowflake, and I fast advance the Brain Trust. Meanwhile, I put the useless Neural Katana on HQ to further deter him from running it. Caprice Nisei on HQ gives me a very good amount of security already, especially against Andromeda, but I had no use for my Neural Katana because he already has Mimic on the board, so I decided to use it simply as a deterrence from running HQ. He does trash my Sansan, but of course that comes at great economic cost, so I'm happy for that. And all I need to do is to use my Jackson to reshuffle that Sansan back to my deck. So now I can continue applying the pressure. I draw into the Psychic Field that I just recycled, thinking of whether I should play it onto the board. Nope, I decide to Jackson up first because he can get through that server pretty easily. So I don't want make suspicious plays like this. Installing a card when you and the runner are low on credits, he will probably catch on to the fact that it's a trap. I need to convince him that it's not a psychic field. Make him access it and devastate him by making him lose a lot of cards. Psychic field is a card that I see rarely played, but it's so powerful once it fires off. The worst thing about it is that it makes R&D very porous and is useless unless it's actually installed. So at least this game I managed to secure both R&D and HQ. R&D has Yagura, so there's no point in him running R&D, and HQ there's Tsurugi, which is heavily taxing. So there's no chance he's going to contest anything in HQ. So my psychic fields have been very safe this game. After drawing out with Jackson, I decided to play the Celebrity Gift, knowing that HQ is very, very secure. I'm hoping he will run the Psychic Field. That would really make my day. He decides to inside job the Bullfrog, and of course, I decide to use the Bullfrog. No way I'm going to let him get 5 free credits. So I play the side game, and I win. So now to decide the server, it's between HQ and the remote. If I jump to HQ, it will become more secure, but I will have to play the side game. So I decide to push him towards the remote, which is very good because there's a psychic field happily waiting for him. Now, I can choose not to resist Tsurugi, and usually it's better not to. It's pretty taxing on me, but I decided to in the end because not only to tax his money, but more importantly, to tax his money so that he thinks that he's about to access a Sand-Sensitive Grid, when in fact it's actually Psychic Field. Alright, so now I have a chance to burn 5 cards from his hand. This is great. This is fantastic. No, he succeeded. Oh man, okay. So, once again, he evades the Psychic Field. If that hit, he would be so crippled. With no cards left, I would easily just install the agenda and start scoring away. But I do so anyway because, well, now is the time to strike. And it's only 1 agenda point anyway. So instead of contesting the very thick remote, he decides to attempt an account siphon. And I play the side game with him, and he fails. So that's why you don't throw an account siphon at a Caprice Nisei. That is never a good idea. So he plays the Fairy. I'm not sure why. I mean, yes, Fairy is good because it's essentially 4 credits for him to get plus Tsurugi. I scored a House of Knives, so now he has to watch his hand size before running into any of my servers. He attempts yet another account siphon and fails again. So one by one, his account siphons are being nullified. He's looking very desperate right now. He then attempts a legwork, and I decide to snap a card off his hand because I can. And we play a side game again. At this point, Tsurugi is doing so much work for me. Every time he attempts to run, he has to pay 4 credits, and he has to beat my side game. So yes, he is really on the back foot right now. And I'm more than happy until this point where he successfully beat me in the side game. And as such, not only does he get the Trash Caprice, he gets to access 3 cards from my hand, 2 of which are cards that I'd rather him not access. Psychic Field and Corporate Troubleshooter. Corporate Troubleshooter is really nice. If I'm able to put the Tsurugi out of Mimic range, I can deal 3 net damage to him anytime I wish. Now, since I have a Caprice in hand, and thankfully he didn't access that during the legwork, it goes on HQ, and no more free runs for him once more. I'm also very thankful that he didn't have the time left to emergency shut down my Tsurugi. That would have set me back very far as well. So, I draw into yet another one of my tempo slowing cards, the Hokusai Grid. Another very old school card, but this is so good. Once again, when the runner is not able to trash your assets and upgrades. I think he doesn't really seem interested in contesting my remote at this point because it's pretty thick and he doesn't have a lot of credits. So I put the Hokusai Grid there to prepare for future scoring. Once again, he attempts a run on HQ, and I'm more than happy to entertain him with Caprice Nisei. He has to pay for every time he gets through, but this time he does. Once again, he's pretty good at the side games. I let him see my mutate, and that's that. there are no agendas in hand, so I'm not that worried. But now HQ is porous once again. So now I need to see out HQ, and without Caprice Nisei to do so, my only other option is to install the Inazuma. Thread up and install the Inazuma. This time I'll remove the Neural Katana because it really is in the way and hasn't really been deterring him at all. So now he attempts his third account siphon, but the game's over. Because he account siphoned with 3 cards in hand, my Tsurugi and House of Knives kills him outright. That's what happens when you run without a decoder. At the end of the game, he did reveal that there were 2 decoders in his deck, and I sniped them both off on his second turn. So he lost the game at that moment. That was why I could get past the entire game, needing only a single piece of 1 cost ice on R&D. Because he didn't have a decoder, he could never ever apply pressure on R&D. So I was very lucky there, but on the same token, I lost 3 agenda points, and more importantly, this just goes to show how powerful net damage is. Even against Shapers, which have Deus Ex, unexpected sniping off of key programs and clone chips, test runs and whatnot, can set the runners so far back that they just struggle to catch up later on. And against Enox have no inbuilt way to defend against net damage. So Enox can also easily have their key card sniped from hand, which is very brutal sometimes, as I've experienced. Especially when the cards that are sniped off are your key breakers like Overmind and so on. So I feel that this is a pretty decent tier 2 deck. It's by no means competitive, I think, because the ice density is very low, and you need to rely on winning side games a lot and leading runners into traps. Your psychic fields, basically. Because when the runner accesses a psychic field, they have no cards left, and this opens up a scoring window for you. By the end of the day, this deck does work very well against criminals, and this game exemplifies it very well. Thanks for watching.